Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. I enjoyed mine immensely. A bunch of us ladies got together for a Mother's Day brunch on Saturday, and I had a nice relaxing day on Sunday. After church, we just kind of hung out at home. I want to say Joe did most of the work. He did remove that palm tree that was in the front of our house, and we have now planted our avocado and our guava trees. So we have all fruit producing or bearing trees in our yard now, and that makes us pretty happy. So I thought today, since we have done so much in the yard, that I would kind of update you guys and do a little garden tour or yard tour. I don't know, do you consider trees part of the garden? So I thought I would walk you guys around and kind of give you an update on what's going on. We've started working on the garden beds for this fall. If you guys are new here, welcome. But I am in Florida, and usually when I talk about planting in the fall or the winter, people are like, "Lady, you're insane." But I am in Florida, and I'm on the coast, so basically I can plant all year round. I can plant through the summer months here, although they are very intense and very hot. Usually the okra does the best. The okra and the peppers, they do the best, and then we plant like a Seminole pumpkin, sweet potatoes, ground coverings. Those seem to do the best through the really intense heat of the summer, but we can plant all year round and harvest something rather than nothing. So today, guys, I'm going to take you on a little tour of our backyard garden and walk you through the front yard so you can see our fruit trees that we've put in, and I hope you enjoy. So these are the beautiful sunflowers that Joe and the girls picked up for me. I don't think I could ever have enough sunflowers. This is our green stalk. We currently have strawberries in it. And of course you can see they are still blooming and producing. This has probably been the best strawberry season we have ever had, and most successful with putting them in the green stalk. Let's see, we have our fig tree, some odds and ends that are here, but our fig tree we're keeping in the pot. It needs to be kept kind of in the shade, not so much the full sun that we have here. And there's already little figs that are popping up. We're excited about this. I'm not really sure what to do with figs yet, but I'm going to figure it out. It is actually a great sweetener and sugar substitute in baking, so I'm excited to use these. Joe put in most of this stuff. He dropped in a whole bunch of onion sets. This is baby okra. I have a feeling that yes, we're going to have to transplant these. Something is currently munching on them. But Joe planted them out here without understanding how big an okra plant actually gets. So I may have to pull these up and move them. We have a little bit of sweet potatoes that are currently popping up. And then we have an experimental sweet potato here on the side. We want to see what it does in the raised bed. A few tomato plants that Joe put in. And then down here on the very end, this tomato plant's doing the best, but down here in the corner, these are our Kajari melons. I believe these are Kajari melons. And then one sunflower. We put them on the ends of the beds. This is a jackfruit tree that we transplanted, and thank goodness after the shock of transplanting it, it is now starting to leaf out. It's good to see that it made it and it's alive because we thought, oh boy, we've killed it. But this gets to be a very large tree if you know what a jackfruit is. We have a few of the bananas. We don't know if we're keeping those, but right now they're still going. You can see our little garden beds there. This is Joe's dragon fruit. We have gotten a few off of there. He is learning how to grow dragon fruit. That is something that he is doing. I haven't really played with them yet. We have an empty bed that we're getting ready to put cucumbers in. And then papaya trees. This is the papaya tree we lost actually during the hurricane. It completely fell over, and we uprooted it and tied it off to help it reestablish its root system, and it has done great. We've gotten papayas off of it already. And then underneath this papaya tree is some cherry tomatoes. This is a volunteer, and there's actually another tomato plant here on the other side. I cannot tell you what kind they are because they're volunteers. We did not plant them over here. We're not sure how they got over here, but this has been the most healthiest and best tasting tomatoes we have ever had right here underneath our papaya tree. So we're looking at experimenting on how we can actually recreate this, because as you'll see, my other tomato plants are very sickly. Here are the okra that I actually planted. And some of them are doing great, and some of them, a caterpillar or something has been munching on them at night. So it looks like I might have 2 that survive. This one's been completely eaten, and I might have 2 or 3 that actually make it. And these are my heavy hitter okra that we grew from seed. I did move my aloe plants over. They were getting way too much sun on the side of the house, and they needed to be watered. So I'm hoping those will bounce back. These are ground cherry tomatoes, another volunteer that just popped up. This one's growing out of the side of our green stalk where our strawberries are. We also have no idea how this ended up in our strawberries, but we'll take it because we love ground cherries. They are a great little garden snack. We have some Malabar spinach, some extra seedlings that still need to be planted. If not, I don't think they're going to make it. But this is I believe a pineapple mint. I've got 2 hot peppers out here, and my chamomile. My chamomile bloomed. I am so excited and so happy. I didn't think I was going to be able to grow this in Florida. So I'm not doing anything with it this year. I'm going to let it establish itself, reseed itself, and come back. I have some lemon balm that decided to voluntarily come up. The rest of mine died. I cannot remember the name of this plant, but it grows out in our yard, and I'm letting it live there right now because I like the flowers on it. This is cilantro, but is actually called culantro. It's a different version of cilantro. And then I have some borage that is growing. As you can see, we definitely need to mow, but it is hard to get back here and mow around the beds. We're going to actually drop some more mulch down to suppress the weeds and the grass. So this will eventually be an actual garden bed once all of this stuff is done blooming. These are all my sunflowers that Joe put in for me. I have 1 jalapeno pepper that my uncle gave me. I need to come out here and snip these off. But so far it's doing great. Peppers do great in Florida. It has been great. And these are my poor sickly tomatoes. I think they're about at their end. I'm waiting for a few to just start to blush and ripen. This is another volunteer tomato. I'm hoping that it makes it and does better than what I planted. And then another ground cherry. So I've really enjoyed all of the volunteers that have popped up. And more than likely this is just tomatoes that have hit the ground from last year and have reseeded and come up. This is our milkweed. This is for butterflies. That's solely what that is planted for, is a host plant, and we're hoping to plant more and allow them to spread The compost pile is coming out. We're actually going to start doing worm bins instead. And then this is the beginning of our garden beds that is going along the fence line. Joe is starting to kind of map it out and lay things out. I'm going to put cardboard down and mulch to help with the weeds and grass. We have our pineapple ring, which we've got 2 pineapples coming up right now. They just live in the middle of the yard. It's the one thing that we did not have to tear out when they told us we had to remove our garden beds. And everything's kind of a mess in the backyard, but you know, we're always in and out of here, and right now it's something that is just kind of in process. Okay, this is the newly planted avocado, and we're hoping to keep these plants a little on the shorter side, but they will get to between 15 and 20 feet. This is my guava, and it's already producing little guavas on there. So I'm super excited about the guava tree. I love guavas. Moringa tree, and of course we do have a little seed pod on there right now. We're going to plant this tree. We just have to find its permanent home. It has been living in that little container for so long. And then if we walk down here, we actually have the wildflowers that Joe planted for me. I love wildflowers. I love colorful flowers, and he put them down by the well. We're going to let all this stuff kind of grow up to cover it. And then we have our Mexican petunias down here. Just to kind of cover the well piping there, since it's at the front of the house. This is a loquat tree. We're about on year 4 of that. And then this is a starfruit tree, which it's doing a little better. It had a really rough start. It was very stunted when it started, and it's actually starting to kind of bush out and grow now. We didn't think it was going to make it, and then thank goodness it pulled through. This is a little grapefruit. It is also struggling. We've got some of these little mealybugs that were on it, and it did it in pretty good. So we're hoping that bounces back. I believe these are Palmaria trees, and they just have pretty pink. We have pink and white and yellow, and those are basically just there because they're beautiful to look at. And then way over here on the side of our yard is our mango trees. We have a Fairchild mango. These trees will stay fairly small, but they're already producing. We were very surprised that anything actually came off of these. But we've been very, very happy with them. This is the one that also got blown over during the hurricane, and we stood it back up. This is I believe a Pickering mango that's also producing. And you can see these are still relatively small. I do not handle the trees. The trees are solely Joe's responsibility. I know nothing about trees. And then we have our stack of pallets that will eventually be garden beds. And we have a great dear friend that has access to these pallets. And this is my wonderful aloe plant. It came with me from Ohio. And of course it's spreading. I'm afraid to put it in the ground because I don't want to kill it. And then my beautiful flowers from my oldest daughter, Katie. She stopped by and dropped these off, which just made my day. And then one rose from one of my friend's sons. He brought them in. And then of course I've got my aloes, my succulents. We have some strawberry runners that we're trying to sprout and then replant. I'm of course planting more succulents because you just can't have enough. It's so addictive. We have up here vanilla orchids, And then this is Frances. She's our Swiss cheese plant. I'm really happy with the way things continue to progress. It's not perfect. It is still quite a mess, but we are getting there, and by this fall, I have some really high expectations for how great this garden is going to turn out. I also wanted to share with you that I did get my green stock. Excuse the shoes, you know, that's, well, we live here. So I did get my green stock. I have not unboxed it yet, but it is the same color as the one on the front porch. As soon as we pick up some dirt, I will go ahead and unbox that. I'll do a video for you guys of unboxing it and assembling it and how to fill it. We have loved the green stock. We have had the best of luck with growing like herbs in it as well as strawberries. It's amazing for strawberries, so I think that's pretty much what we're going to use it for. We went ahead and got a second one because we can grow strawberries for quite a long time here, especially if we keep them up on the patio underneath the shade. It doesn't burn the plants or stress the plants, and they just kind of pick off as they're producing. But I'll show you guys how that all goes together. I love the green stalks because it has allowed me to garden from my patio. When we first moved here, it was all grass, and we put a lot of effort and work into it with putting the raised garden beds in to have the city come in and tell us we needed to remove them. That of course broke my heart, and I had to completely restructure my backyard, and Joe moved the garden beds without any really instruction from me. I was just like, I'm done, I don't want to garden anymore. Sorry about that, my camera decided that it didn't want to record anymore, so I've been playing with it for over an hour to get it to work. But like I was saying, Joe had moved everything over without any kind of instruction or, you know, my detailed organizational structure that needed to happen. And I've just, every time I go out there, I look at it and I'm like, I'm so unhappy with this. And it's just a reminder of everything that has gone on with the backyard and the city and having to tear my garden beds out. But I'm over my mad, and I'm very excited to get the new garden beds in, to line them across the back fence, to give them a little bit of shade because our Florida sun is incredibly intense. Most of the plants are full sun, but here that afternoon sun is brutal, so they need that afternoon shade if possible, and the one place in my yard that has that, I can't grow there. So we're making do, we're putting up shade cloths, we're trying to find new areas to plant and create little microclimates for things to grow in. So like you could see, the tomatoes underneath the papaya are doing amazing, and that's a volunteer plant. We've got volunteer tomatoes and things all over the place, and they seem to be doing better than the ones that we had originally planted from seeds or from starters that we got from someone. So I'm hoping to recreate that and kind of figure out how we can make things kind of work together to produce more, you know, tomatoes or more cucumbers or whatever it is that we're planting. So this is more of like a really good experiment and trial of figuring out what we can and can't do, what works, maybe try some things that nobody else has tried, and see what works for our backyard. So I am super excited to keep sharing this with you guys. I can't wait until the fall because that's when we're putting in all the herbs. So more to come. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on here and kind of give you a quick update. Wish you all a happy Mother's Day, and I will see you guys on the next one. And as always, guys, I bless you on your journeys, and I thank you for joining me on mine.